Is Homer. Homer is a Eurasian jaybird. Homer is also scientifically a bit of an idiot. Homer and a couple of other birds recently got put through something called the marshmallow test. It's a test that was made famous on children, but this time was applied to these birds. The scientists started by putting a piece of food directly in front of the birds, except it was something that they only kind of liked, like a piece of bread or cheese. Then the scientists put a piece of food that they really liked, something like a mealworm, behind this piece of perspex. The birds knew the mealworm was there, but they also knew they couldn't reach the mealworm on their own. And if they ever went for the bread or cheese, the mealworm got taken away. But if they waited long enough, then the researchers would give them the mealworm. So this test is all about figuring out if these birds have enough self-control to not go for the pieces of food that they kind of like that's straight in front of them and wait for the food that they really like that's hidden behind the perspex. The top performing birds lasted a solid 5.5 minutes of not eating the mediocre food as they waited for the mealworm. And Homer here was equal worst. He waited a maximum of 20 seconds before caving and going for the bread or cheese. Then Homer and his friends got put through some more tests to figure out what their general intelligence level was, and they realized that the birds that could force themselves to wait longer for the good food also happen to be more intelligent, which seems to mean the smarter the birds are, the more self-control they seem to have. And that's exactly what we saw in the original marshmallow test on humans. The more intelligent the subject, the more self-control they tended to have.